Hi everyone, I can see people joining the webinar now. That's good. While people are coming in, I'm going to get you to use the chat, please. And with the chat, if you wouldn't mind, just type in where you are. It's going to say tuning in from, but that's not true, is it? I was going to say dialing in from, but that's not true. I guess it's logging in. Would you mind just typing in the chat where you're logging in from? Just put in your suburb or your town or whatever. Thanks to Nathan, who's in Perth. Come on, you others. I can see we've got a good group turning up. It's always fascinating to know where people are. Launceston, welcome. That's the city of birth of my mother, Greer. You'll be delighted to know. I even owned some property in Launceston for a while. All right, everyone, come on. I can see there's a lot more people who have logged in. Just type in where you're based, and then we'll get cracking in just a minute. I know it always takes people a minute to get in. Brisbane, hi Joanne, welcome. That was the city I was born in. What's it like in Brizzy today? That's scorching hot. I'm in Victoria. It's even quite hot there. Victoria is in Brisbane, as in a person called Victoria. 2 is in Christchurch. Hello. Joanne says it's hot and humid in Brisbane. Yeah, well, you will live there, won't you, in summer. All right, looks like we've got a quorum here. I say we get cracking. Thanks for playing on the webinar chat. The future of dental bookings, harnessing new strategies to succeed in 2024. My name's Angus Pryor, and let's get cracking. So the purpose of this session, always important to set the scene. What are we going to do? Why are we even here? We want to unpack some macro and micro trends affecting patient bookings. We want to discover 3 techniques to boost your success. That's what this is all about. And then reveal a simpler way to better results. I'll do that at the end. So the agenda is we'll have a look at some dental marketing trends for 2024. Enhanced patient communication techniques. This is really important. We're going to spend quite a bit of time here. Digital marketing skills, and then we'll finish with a simpler way. So I think at this point, Beck's going to launch the poll. And if you'd be kind enough, please, just type in, just click on whichever one's you, and we'll see who the winner is. All right, we have a few practice managers in the room. What else have we got? Oh, I've got to scroll down. There's a big list here. Certainly, it looks like practice managers are at the head of the list. Let's see who else. We've got some others. Okay. It's mainly practice managers, it looks like. All right, this poll is going to go for a few more seconds, and we're getting an excellent participation rate, which I really appreciate. We're at 82%, only 3 people more to vote. All right, I think this goes for another 15 seconds. That's good. It just helps me. We've got a principal dentist there. Good. 2 more votes. Can we do it? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you know what? I'll take 88%. Well done. Okay, so principal dentists, practice managers, and some others. That's great. All right, well, a little bit about me. So I am a multi-award-winning practice growth specialist. So I've got a couple of businesses. One is called Dental Marketing Solutions. We've partnered with Centaur in relation to a number of things, including this event. And I've got a newer business called Dental Stars. So that's us, as you can see. Hopefully that gives you some confidence that I know what I'm talking about. I have spent the last 10 years working with dental practices in Australia, New Zealand, and internationally. I love working with people. I love helping you to grow your business. I just about do it for free. All right, 2024 dental marketing trends. So let's have a look at some of those. Now, I'm aware we've got some Kiwis on here, which is totally fine. You are welcome. This is some Australian data, and I'm going to tell you my understanding of what's happening in NZ as well. So on the left here, we've got Australia. On the right, we've got some data representing dentists. And this is data over the last 5 years in Australia. So the Australian population has grown by 7%, and the number of practicing dentists has grown by 17%. So it's about 2.5 times faster. And I've been following these trends for more than 10 years, and this trend has continued every year. So this is one trend that we just cannot ignore. There There are more and more practicing dentists all the time. Now, the data in New Zealand is very similar. The population growth, I think from memory in New Zealand, the last 5 years is closer to 5 or 6%. But the number of practicing dentists is definitely increasing as well. All right, let's just put some meat on those bones. So if you imagine the time that we are together today, in that time, approximately, in Australia, 1 new dentist will start practicing, approximately. If we looked at today as a whole, there will be 1 dentist that will hang up their drill for the last time. There will be 3 dentists that will start practicing for the first time, and there will be 1 practice that will open for the first time. And that is happening in Australia every single day. As I say, that look, it's not a practice opening every day in New Zealand, but those ratios are kind of similar. So that's one of the trends that we're facing. Another trend is what they call noise in the marketplace. And the data now suggests that as consumers, we are experiencing between 2,000 and 5,000 commercial messages a day, which means that 1, it's more competitive, and 2, it's harder to get any message into the ears of our ideal patients because they're so bombarded with commercial messages. All right, we know about high competition, new practices opening. We've spoken about that. I do want to say one other thing about new practices opening. Like, I've just got to choose my words carefully here because I'm not wanting to be critical, but I do need to tell you the truth. As if there was a really business-minded dentist, when they're opening a new practice, what they would do would be they'd check out the population in that area, they'd check out the number of practicing dentists in that area, and they'd go, this looks like a good opportunity for growth. Let's open up a new practice there. That's probably what should be happening. In my experience, that's not what's happening. The main driving behaviour, frankly, for Australian dentists and New Zealand dentists opening up new practices is, where do I want to practice? You know, I live here, I'd like to open up a practice there. It's only that I've had so many of these conversations that I'm going, oh, how did you pick that spot? Oh, just like the area. And the problem is, if you don't get that right, the difference between setting up in a really competitive area and a not very competitive area is day and night. You'll have to spend so much more money on your marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So that's one thing to observe there. Corporate dentistry is certainly a growing trend in both countries. And the other one that I think is quite an interesting trend, I'm not saying it's a good one, but there are more and more non-practices offering DIY dental, you know, Smile Direct Club. I could probably list about half a dozen of them. So unfortunately, these trends are not your friend. The take-home message there is very simple. Like, you need to stand out or your bookings are going down. This is a course about helping you to be boosting your bookings with the latest techniques, but I also got to be real about what's happening in the environment. And you know, if you're sort of thinking with a kind of a 1990s mentality, well, we'll just set up shop and put out our welcome mat. I can tell you that is not a recipe for success. I've seen some data with New Zealand as well. We're currently surveying a bunch of New Zealand dentists, and most of the ones we're hearing from are suggesting the competition is about the same or getting a bit worse. In Australia, it's probably a bit more intense. So that's the take-home message there. 2024 dental marketing trends, unfortunately, they're not great, but fortunately, I'm going to show you some things you can do to get ahead of the crowd. Enhanced patient communication techniques. This is very important. Now, look, there are 3 elements, and I'm going to go into each of these in some detail. The first is personalised, and I'll show you some data there. It's quite compelling. The second component is informative. It's not that all information is helpful, it's a particular type that's helpful. And the third part is automated. Like, for you to be able to fight and win against all of that noise that's in the marketplace, we need this combination of personalised, informative, and automated. These things need to work together. So let's check them out. When I think about personalised, I can't help but put an image of a coffee on the screen. just curious, let's play along, guys. Put into the chat, if you're a coffee drinker, can you just put into the chat, please, how you have your coffee? Let's imagine I'm your barista and I'm about to make you a coffee. I've got some water here I'm going to drink. Would you mind just put into your chat, if you're a coffee drinker, how do you have your coffee? I just want to... Thanks, Korea. Good. Okay. Really? My goodness. As if I needed evidence of what I've just told you. This is hilarious. Okay, this is the I'm shocked, but I'm delighted. Greer would like a double shot latte. Nathan would like a flat white with some honey. Edward would like black. Give me black coffee. Jess would like a latte, extra shot, lactose-free milk. Angie would like flat white with vanilla. Lauren would like an oat piccolo with one equal. Like the defense rests, ladies and gentlemen. Have we ever lived in a more personalized society than we do now? The level of personalization is through the roof, and we need that in our communication as well. Now, I want to show you some data. This is from an Australian research group called McKinsey. They've been around for many years, and they found in a study last year in Australia that 71% of people expect personalized communications. This is, you know, it would be like you walking into a coffee shop and them saying, no, we just have coffee, that's it. You know, here's the jug, coffee, that's it. And where you've seen here, we've got 6 different ways that people like their coffee. The other thing that this study showed is that 76% of people are disappointed when the communication is not personalized. So this is not just a nice thing to do. This is what the research shows that people want, which is good news, because yes, there's more practice opening, but because you're here, this is something you can respond to. And I'm going to show you later a way that we can set this so that it works on autopilot. So I want personalized. Show and tell me what's relevant for me. Use my name. Refer to my previous contact or my previous behavior and speak to what I care about. Like that's what personalization is about. Don't show or tell me if it's not relevant. Like, I prefer I wasn't just sending a hi there. I will admit occasionally that's okay, but you know, it'd be better if it said, hey, Angus. Don't send me stuff offering what I can't do or offering me stuff what I already did. And then I put there as examples implants and dentures. I mean, let's face it, if you were to send an email to your entire list or a text message or something and said, hey, you know, we've got a special on dentures, like 95% of your patients are like, well, bully for you, because I don't need dentures and I don't want them. So this is a very important message. The second part's around informative. Now, remember, 2,000 to 5,000 commercial messages a day. We've really got to cut through this. Now, I did some work a few years ago with a lady called Sue Papadoulis. She was a former ABC News editor, so she knows what she's talking about. And she said, health is always a topic of interest in the media. And you might say, but this is not about the media. But the fact is, if it's of interest to the media, then we can rest assured it's of interest to the people. So health is always a topic that people are interested in. So when I think about informative content, I'm thinking about things like health tips, cost savers. They can be great content for people. Procedures explained, like I'm interested in my health, and you've got a new procedure, for example. How does that work, and what would be the benefits for me? What about speaking to specific patient groups? Maybe it's messaging particularly for the kids. Maybe it's for elderly. Maybe it's for diabetics. Maybe it's for pregnant people, like whatever the case may be. If I am a diabetic or I'm pregnant or whatever, then if I see a message that speaks to that, I'm like, wow, that's for me. I need to know that. And then finally, the other part about informative can be team content. You know, at the end of the day, as dentists, part of our role is, of course, to educate and inform people, but we've got a certain role in actually giving people what they need. And sometimes that's just about, you know, letting them know about team members, you know, maybe entertaining us. So there's a number of ways you can do that. What I've got here now is a list of headlines that you can use for your content, which would tick those boxes for what people want. For example, 3 ways to achieve X outcome. That might be for a brighter smile, 3 ways to get kids to brush their teeth, 3 ways to save money on dental, etc., etc. If you're producing content like that, it ticks the informative box, and as long as we've pitched to the right people, it's also personalized. What about this one? How X leads to Y. How great brushing habits leads to, saving you money, or how poor brushing habits can lead to ... How poor oral hygiene can lead to a range of diseases you just don't want, diabetes, Alzheimer's, etc. The truth about something, I just read on social media today that in Europe, they've just agreed to banning the use of amalgam fillings. Don't know whether it's coming here, but that's perhaps a bit of a global trend. The truth about whitening, you could talk about, whether it's supermarket versus pharmacy versus in-chair versus take-home, etc., etc. Same-day crowns explain, like new procedure. I mean, maybe it's new for your practice. How does it all work? Dentistry for diabetics, absolutely. If you're a diabetic, like, you are all ears to that kind of content. And then this is a very simple one, and indeed one could argue I've just done that with you. Our team's favourite pick-me-up. Lauren, she likes an oat piccolo with 1 equal. Angie, she likes a flat white with vanilla, etc., etc. So these are some ways we can produce informative content that people are interested in, and we can personalize it as well. Now, the third part is automated, and I need to explain why, and then we'll talk about how. So I want you to imagine for a second that you've looked into social media land, and you've gone, hey, Angus, we're ticking a couple of those boxes, maybe 2 or 3, but I think we're going to go for another one. Let's launch, let's do, I noticed we don't have X there, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Let's imagine we're going for X. Well, even X at least you can just do text. So you go, all right, we're going to launch into X, and we're going to bring lots and lots of patients in using X. Used to be called Twitter. And this is what I see happening. First month, you'll see 6 posts, and they're really interesting, and we're getting a bit of engagement. And then in February, down to 4, but that's okay. Once a week, isn't it? And then March, everything's going well. And then April, 1 post. Oh, what happened in April? Someone shift job, or, got busy with something else, or someone was on leave. And then May, sorry, gone, nothing there. June, we need to sort of pick up our game there. Let's get back on track. July to August, September, October, November, nothing. And then there's a post saying Merry Christmas. Like, this is the problem of what happens if you don't have automation. And this kind of behavior I see all the time, which is we start something new, full of enthusiasm. And the problem I have with this is that if someone has seen some information about you, it's been informative, and they find some stuff and they go, I'm just going to check them out on social media. And they see that, let's say you claim on your website that you're a very technologically advanced practice. And then I go to your website, to your Facebook page, for example, and there's been nothing posted in the last 18 months. My mind's going, hang on, what's going here? So automation is really important. The other thing I'd mention here is this question of how often do patients think about you. And I would say for most patients for dentistry, maybe once a year, if they're really conscientious, twice a year. And the problem is that they're thinking about all these other things in their lives. And it's like, where does dentistry sit on that list? And so this is what happens if there's no automation. This is why this is so important with our patient communication. Remember, all that noise, all of those life priorities, how do we make dentists move up that list a bit? All right, personalized, informative, and automated. That's what we need to get this to happen. All right, let's move on to the next part, which is digital marketing skills. It's fair to say, if you're in a competitive area, and most of you are, then you're probably going to have to outmarket your competitors. Now, some of that internal stuff, like we've just spoken about, is great, but the external stuff is important too. So before we do that, I thought a couple of freebies would be in order, because I love when people turn up. I love action takers. So first thing, I wanted to, we've got a digital magazine called Dental Edge. You'll see this is one of our more recent ones, an interview with a dentist in Melbourne who had practice ownership in 23, articles on orthodontics, stress management for dentists. There's all sorts of things. There's always a fun page. So what I wanted to do, oh, by the way, we've got Dish he does some work with Stentor as well, and there's an event coming up called booked-solid.com.au. That will be later this month in Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. All right, what I'd like to do is offer you a free subscription to the magazine. I'll leave the QR code there. So as I said, it's designed, thank you for typing that into the chat. It's designed for the whole team. It's got clinical and non-clinical content. And that'll be my gift to you. So that's the QR code there, and I am going to assume Beck's going to stick the URL into the chat as well. But otherwise, we all know how to use QR codes these days, don't we? And when you do that, go in there, and if you type in the coupon code DMS, then that would be my gift to you, a 12-month subscription. Thanks, Beck. That's great. That's in the chat. All right, one other freebie for you, because I love people who turn up to things. I've got a podcast called Practice Growth HQ, Essential Tips to Grow Your Healthcare Practice Faster. We just had our 100th episode. Yay for me. Yay for our team, really. And I interviewed Jim Penman, who's the founder of, like Jim's Mowing. It's basically Jim's everything these days, isn't it? Jim's cleaning, Jim's electrical. And I asked him about dental. So he gave his 2 cents worth. And then Janine Alice, she's the founder of Boost Juice. She was on the original Shark Tank in Australia and on Survivor as well. Anyway, so those podcasts, if you're, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, but if you're a podcast listener, then that's a couple of things for you to check out. All right, let's keep going then. Digital marketing skills. Now, I was at a course recently, and this guy, a Melbourne-based guy called Alan Dibb, who's got this amazing book called The One-Page Marketing Plan, and he said something that really stuck with me. No one knows how good you are until after they become a client. Before that, they only know how good your marketing is. I'm going to say that again. No one knows how good you are at your practice until after they become a patient. Before that, they only know how good your marketing is. This is why it's so important to get this right. So for you to achieve marketing success at your practice, I've come up with a concept called the Patient Success System. And there are 3 components to it that I'm going to take you through. In our experience, for you to be attracting more patients, getting your books fuller and fuller booked, you need to have these 3 things working together. When we have calls with people, and we'll say, we will actually give them a grade against how effective the multi-point attention is at your practice, how compelling your website is, and how optimized your bookings are. So let's have a look at the first one. This is the reality. With all that noise, we need multiple touch points for people to become a patient. Now, they can do it fairly quickly, but multiple. It's not just one thing. Oh, Angus, tell us what the silver bullet is. There is no silver bullet. Like, we need a bunch of things to get people's attention. So there's the big list. Google, SEO, so that you're strong on the Google map, appearing on the unpaid listings. Google Ads, Google Business Profile, Google Reviews, social media organic, social media ads, patient referrals, partnerships, sponsorship, signage, and other media. And those are all of the things that you can potentially do to get people's attention, because that's step 1. Multi-point attention. There's just one little issue. In my mind, there are 2 really distinct categories here. And that bottom category, the reason why it sits on the bottom for me is because in all of those, what you are doing is interrupting people. If I'm going onto social media, I'm not going there to look for a dentist by and large. I mean, occasionally people do, but generally not. I'm going there for social purposes. The one thing that sets Google apart from everything else is that they've come looking for you. And if you want to say within those categories in Google, which is the most important, I would probably say SEO, because it will impact your presence on the map and also in the unpaid listings, whereas the others tend to sit separately. But that's the key there. So we need that multi-point attention first, then we need to drive people to a compelling website. We did a survey in New Zealand this week, and it was quite interesting. We've had about 40 or 50 people fill in the survey so far, and I can tell you that half of the dental practices there are contemplating updating their website in the next 6 months. I was really surprised at that statistic. All right, so this is what the data shows. You've got 5 seconds to answer 3 questions. What's this about? Who is this for? And why should I engage? That's what the data shows. So much noise, so much choice, such short attention spans. Get to the point. If the first words on your website are "welcome to our practice," those are 4 wasted words. Get rid of them. You're wasting that 5 seconds. Who's this for? What's it about? Why should I engage? The second thing, look, I'm sorry, I try to speak in kindness, but with these grey hairs, I tend to be pretty direct. Like, really, really honestly with you, I probably looked at, it's certainly hundreds, if not thousands of dental websites. I would say to you with my hand on my heart that at least half of dental websites are written for other dentists. And you're going, oh, Angus, that wouldn't be right. There's people on this webinar. That wouldn't be true for anyone on this webinar. I'm going, yeah, it would. Because what happens is the things that you think are important, your patients may not understand. The things that you think are worth highlighting, they're not that interested in. And so what I see all the time is websites are written for dentists when it needs to be written for patients. The next thing I'd say about winning this digital marketing exercise is tracking the conversion rate. Remember, get lots of attention, drive them to your website, but what rate are you converting people at? From landing on your website to making, to clicking on a button, finding out more, clicking on the book now button. So that's that part. The third part is optimized booking. Let's put it this way. I'm not, no one on this call would ever do this, but I'm just saying, if one were looking to completely undermine the marketing at a dental practice, the fastest way I can think to do it would be on the telephone. If you got feral Cheryl answering the phone at your practice, like, you could have world-class multi-point attention. You could have had Justin Bieber singing a song about your practice at the halftime break of the Super Bowl yesterday, and then you could have had the best, most compelling website of all time, and then they ring up the phone and feral Cheryl answers, and the whole thing just goes off the foot in 60 to 90 seconds. So if your booking process is not optimized, everything else would be wasted. But honestly, one of the key messages there is around online bookings. Now, I think I'm right. The data that I've heard from Central previously is that for practices that introduce online bookings, they can expect approximately an extra 6 to 8 bookings a month just by virtue of doing that. I mean, you can imagine the scenario, sitting there looking at my mobile phone, it's 8:30 at night, and you go, oh, yeah, I should book into the dentist. I'll go to their site. I found a good practice. Can I book now? Okay, they don't have online booking there. So I guess I've got to call in the morning. And I'm going to say some people will and some people won't. And then the other question I've got for you, this is probably more of a question about over the phone, but it can be for online as well, is what percentage of potential patients' calls are turned into appointments? Like at your practice, let's imagine that you've got 10 potential patients who call every week, 2 a day. That's not a huge number. My question is, of those 10, how many actually booked an appointment? Because if you've got a number that's sitting at 5 or 6 out of 10 or even lower, heaven forbid, then you've got a real problem. I mean, if you were converting, let's do the math. Let's say you were converting 4 out of 10 calls into an appointment versus 8 out of 10 calls into an appointment. Do you realize you've got to market twice as much to achieve the same outcome here at 4 out of 10 as you do at 8 out of 10? So this is really important to get right. And one thing you never ever want to do is put your least experienced staff answering the phone. You know, they need to be good negotiators and understand how to get people to book in. All right, so that's optimized bookings. So let's recap. 2024 dental marketing trends. Competition going up, noise getting worse, more players in the market, so it's harder to get people's attention. Our enhanced patient communication techniques, it needs to be personalized. We've seen that with your coffee orders. That data that shows 3/4 of people want personalized communication. It needs to be informative. Now, we know from that journo that certainly in the media, health is always newsworthy. So you've got the upper hand there. I was talking to someone who had a business recently where their thing was, what was it? It was like, you know, cookies or something. And I thought to myself, wow, I'm going to run out of content very quickly, you know, talking about cookies. And then the third part is it needs to be automated, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to start something new, and you'll start well, and then life gets busy, and then you just end up doing zero. In terms of our digital marketing skills, so we need that multi-point attention, get people's attention multiple ways, drive them to a compelling website, and then optimize booking process, particularly with online booking. With that in mind, as we've been talking amongst ourselves at Centaur and my company, we're thinking, well, how can we produce like a simpler way to be able to bring these things together? So not too long ago, we introduced something called the D4W Mega Marketing System. And what I want to do now is just spend a few minutes taking you through that so you understand how it ticks all those boxes. We've got a little offer for you because I love action takers, and then I'll take some questions at the end. So the first thing that I mentioned is that we want to be getting that multi-point attention. And the strongest thing you can do is something called SEO. So you appear strongly on the Google map and strongly in the unpaid listings. Now, for my company, where we come in, we've got award-winning SEO. And if you are not on the first page of Google with any of your search terms, then we guarantee to get you there in 90 days. We guarantee a 20% increase in the visitors to your website over the next 12 months. Let's say, for example, you've got 1,000 people who visit your website every month. That'd be a good number. Well, we guarantee to get you to 1,200, an extra 200 a month if that's the case. The next thing is there is 10 search terms that we will go after in this particular product. There are some upgrades if you're interested, and we guarantee that 80% of those will be on page 1 of Google. You'll get monthly progress reports. So that's the first part. Like if we're going to try and tick off the boxes to be able to boost our bookings, then this would be one part that would be essential. So this award-winning SEO. The next part is this patient communication. Remember, personalized, informative, and automated. The personalized we can definitely do, the informative we can do, but it's that automated. Now, some time back, D4W introduced something called the D4W marketing module. I had a close look at it when they showed it to me at the time, and I was amazed. I was like, this is a really brilliant system. Automated mail, text, email, send postcards, etc., etc. So automated templates for recalls, reactivations, welcomes, post-visit surveys, birthdays, etc., etc. Like literally, you could spend 45 minutes with your D4W account manager, and at the end of that 45 minutes, you could have 6 touch points a year going out to your patient, where it's informative, it's personalized, and it's automated. Absolutely critical. On the other hand, the other thing that the system's got that I think is really cool is it's got custom templates for doing ad hoc stuff. Now you can say, you know, let's do a whitening promotion. Maybe it's Valentine's Day. That's tomorrow. Remember to get something for your Valentine. It is tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah. And then, but treatment specific, like you could literally run a report in D4W that says, hey, give me a list of all the people that have got this particular condition, and we're only going to send something to them. Does that make sense? That personalized, like we're not going to send it to everybody on your list. If we know we've got a record of people who are diabetics, If we've got a record of people who've maybe got missing teeth or broken teeth, then you can run a report and send it just to them. And again, there are templates for all this in there. As I mentioned, there's a dedicated account manager to get you set up quickly. I just wanted to show you some examples of the stuff that they've got. And this is all, it's the whole thing can be automated. It's very simple. Your logo goes there. In my view, as a marketer, we didn't produce this. I think the text is top notch, and I think the designs are really good as well. There are hundreds of designs in there. You'll find some stuff that works for you, automate it. And here's the thing, your patient's going to feel like this is something you deliberately did for them. But in reality, what we've done is we've automated the process. All right, so let's recap. We need that SEO. We've got to be dominating the digital marketing. SEO, in my view, is the strongest way to do that. Then to have this D for W marketing, which is this automated patient communication. And then we thought, well, let's throw it together and let's reward people for kind of having this bundle. So the usual investment for this would be $7.49 a month. But we've got an offer where it's for $4.99 a month and you save $250 a month. Now, if I could just tell you, in Australia, I certainly know the data. One patient, the median spend per patient per year in Australia is about $500. I've looked at the data from dozens and dozens of practices. So if this system were able to generate one extra patient a month, it would have paid for itself. All right, we know about the SEO, we know about the automated communications, and as I mentioned, you can do custom stuff as well if you get a bit excited. Promotional pricing, save $250 a month. Well, we've got some New Year bonuses. You might say, come on, Angus, it's February now, but I take the view, like, why not? So I want to show you some freebies. The first thing is a social media marketing pack. So this is one that we've produced. It's got 10 social media templates that you can use, customizable captions, hashtags. There's an image library of stock images, so you can sub those in and out. And we think that using that, you can expect to get another 5 new patients to your practice. Like, it's very simple to use. You can automate the whole thing and off you go. From D4W, they're throwing in 1,000 text messages. Now, I've just got some data here because I looked this up. This was data last year, and the data shows that 95% of people would check a text message within 3 minutes. That's what the data showed. That was last year, compared to about 17% on email. In fact, the open rate for email, and I don't think email is a waste of time, not at all. It's a very cost-effective way to communicate, but the open rate with email is about 30% if you're doing it well. So SMS, 1,000 text messages, you get your message, it cuts through quickly, a nice little bonus. And then the other thing we've got here is 12 months access to a marketing vault, 200 training videos, short courses, how-to guides, etc., etc. So I think let's just recap this then. So we know we've got the SEO, that's important. We want to get you on page 1 of Google. We want that automated patient communications, personalized, informative, the promotional pricing, the New Year bonuses. And then we thought, well, let's make it easy for people. Let's make a guarantee so it's a no-brainer. So with the SEO, this is how it works. We've got a triple guarantee for you. We guarantee to boost the visitors to your website by 20% in the next 12 months. Again, if you go, Angus, I want to go harder than that, we do have some upgrade packages. Secondly, if you're not already on the first page of Google, we guarantee to get you there in 90 days. Not every search term, but we'll get you there in one of them. Of the 10 search terms that we go after, we guarantee that 80% will be on the first page within the 12-month period. And it's pretty simple. We either achieve those results or we work for free. That's the way that it works. In 10 years of doing this, I've only had one client where we missed. The other thing that we wanted to do is say, well, here's a 30-day risk-free trial, which means you can check out the whole system for 30 days. It won't cost you a cent. That's our kind of saying, we're really confident that this is going to help you with what you need. And so you can try it for free for 30 days. All right, award-winning SEO, D4W automated marketing, promotional pricing, save $250 a month, those nice little bonuses, $2,500 worth. our triple guarantee, and the 30-day free trial. And so we're going to put a poll up in a minute, but if you go, that sounds interesting, then you can either head to this website here or use the QR code. If you decide you want to go ahead, make sure you use this coupon code NEW, as in New Year, because that will mean that you'll get all of those extra benefits as well. On that same page, if you go, like, it sounds interesting, but I've got questions, what about we're doing this, we're doing that, how does it work with that? You can also just book in for an appointment there, and we're happy to chat to you and let you know how it goes. Otherwise, let's recap where we're at. So dental marketing trends, I think we've covered those pretty soundly. Unfortunately, the competition's going up. Unfortunately, the noise is increasing. It's harder to get that cut through, but we've identified these enhanced patient communication techniques: personalized, informative, and automated. The digital marketing skills, that combination of getting people's attention, that optimized website, and that making sure that you've got the booking process working well. And then finally, that simpler way, which is the combination product from Centaur and my company. So did we achieve our goals? Unpack some micro and macro trends affecting patient bookings. Hopefully you feel like we've covered that. Discover 3 techniques to boost your success. I think if I counted them up, we've probably covered about 15 things. And then finally, to reveal a simpler way to better results. So that, my friends, in my view and my humble estimation, is the future of dental bookings, harnessing new strategies to succeed in 2024. What I'm going to do is open it up for questions now. I am going to leave that QR code there if you want to go and check out how this thing works. I'll get you to type your questions into the chat. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we will put a poll up in a couple of minutes where we can just get some feedback from you. So I'll get you to put some questions in the chat, and then I'll do my best to answer those while I take a drink.
Perfect. Thanks, Angus. I'm just jumping in here just while people are putting in some of the questions that they may have. And just wanted to invite everybody, if you are coming to ADX next month, Angus does have his own stand. Angus, do you have your stand number on hand that you can let everyone know where to find you?
Yes, I could find it. Let me
Yeah,
we've got 2 stands. Hopefully we're not too far from you guys. Let me just double.
Perfect.
I guess I can look at my web browser without changing what everyone's seeing.
Yeah, so just to let you know, Centaur will be there as well, just while Angus is looking for where he is. We'll be at stand 406. So you're welcome to come and visit us. We've got some great giveaways that we're doing as well. If you come visit and scan the QR code, you can enter to win some great prizes, including Apple Watch and a few other items that our partners are going to be giving away from our stand. Angus, I believe you're doing some of the CPD chats as well. Is that correct? Yeah.
Sure. I've got a presentation there, and also we are also giving away stuff. You can get an Apple Watch from Centaur. We're giving away a holiday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, take your loved one. It's actually pretty cool. It's a long weekend, and it's champagne and a massage and all of this kind of stuff. So that's there. And the other thing is t-shirts. We're getting some special t-shirts made up. We've had some pretty funky designs. They went like hotcakes last time. I think the ADX went until Saturday afternoon. They're completely gone by like first thing Saturday morning. So yes, we are at apparently booth 1235. That looks like a typo to me. No, it's correct. We're down the right-hand side. We've got a couple of booths next to each other. So
perfect.
Yes, those are they. Now let me just check to see these questions. Can we go? Okay, I have had one thing come through. I'm assuming everyone can see this was a question relating to, where was it here? Yes, okay. So the question was around D for W marketing, the automated template. So just to be clear with those, the words are already written. You don't have to write this stuff. You just have to choose the one that works for you. And the artwork is also prepared there already. So all you've got to do is we upload your, well, in fact, your account manager will help you upload your logo, and then it just appears in there. And as I said, literally from one 45-minute call with your account manager, you can have all of that stuff being automated and personalized, going out like 6 times a year to your patients. You don't have to do another thing. I mean, for me, that is, I can't think anywhere else in dentistry where you can do that. But for some of you, we've also got custom templates, which means that if you want to go after a particular campaign, you know, maybe you're doing a end of financial year, maybe it's an end of year, use up your insurance, maybe it's, you know, I mentioned treatment specific. If you know, if you've got a missing tooth, hey, we're now offering same-day crowns, etc. So yes, all of that's included. If you want to go, look, just set me up and I don't want to touch the thing again, that works, and you have lots of communication with your patients. If you choose to be more custom, then you can do that as well. As I said, yes, you've got an account manager. Yes, that's some of, I'm sorry, I think I can only just kind of, they'll just pop up one by one, it looks like. It's interesting. It should animate. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, so you'll see there's lots of different things in there. All right.
Akana, I can see that you have your hands up. I can turn on your microphone to talk if that's something.
Or maybe just type it into the
Yeah, it would
chat.
be easier if you.
If you
Yeah,
don't mind, type it into the chat so we can handle it that way.
yeah.
All right, I can see I've had one other question come through. That's about the SEO. Where let me just go back to that one. So the question is, well, what if we're already using someone for SEO? And what I would recommend you do in that situation is that on the QR code, if you book in for an appointment, we can go through and we will check to see where you're already at. Now, we know without a shadow of a doubt that we can boost the visitors to your website by 20%. As I said, I've been doing this for 10 years. We've missed with one client in 10 years. But it may be that you think that you're happy with the results you're getting, or you think you're getting a good result. We will do a check for you and tell you whether, in fact, we can guarantee not just a 20% boost, but a 40% boost, or indeed an 80% boost. But we want to be able to do a check before we make that offer. But it's very simple. If we don't achieve that outcome, then we will work for free until we do. And as I say, we've only done that once in 10 years that I've been in business. I don't really like working for free for people. So I tend not to make offers that I can't keep. All right, any other questions? Otherwise, is the poll still up, Beck?
Yeah, I'll just close that in 6 seconds. That will close.
You do that one, and then let me just put that QR code there. Otherwise, I think we're done.
Perfect.
All right, that poll's all done?
Yep, all done.
Well, I'm going to assume that's it. Thanks very much, everyone. Really appreciate your participation. I loved the piece of market research about the coffee. That's great. It just proved my point, but at least we had our own little focus group there. Otherwise, go forward, do great work, and get your books filled as quickly as you can.
Thanks, Angus.
See you guys.